Well, hi, Jen.
Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
Welcome to Wednesday
It
on
is
Beyond Today.
Wednesday. How did we get to Wednesday? And how did we get to the end of July? Like that
Yeah.
has been, people are talking about back to school. I mean, my kids are too old for that now. But I'm just like, no. It's still middle of summer. What are you talking about?
You ready for how we did it? And this is how it happened. I mean, like this. Like blink.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Oh
It's
my
exactly
God.
it. I feel like I say that though, like
insane.
all the time, about every month. And so I'm sure that means I'm getting old.
Well, I think, you know what I think it is, Jen? I think it's when you've got so many moving pieces that
Yes.
it starts to like, oh my gosh. And so your moments are kind of, I don't know, happening in a way that they just are fleeting.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Mary Ellen says hi. So hi.
Yes,
Hi,
that's
hi.
so cool.
Thanks for joining today. Yeah, it's a blink. And
It is.
I don't know about you, but the older I get, the quicker time goes. I don't like it.
It
But
does. I know.
the more the blinks happen.
Yes. Well, I have my awakeish, where is it? Awakeish mug today because I need it because I'm barely awake. It's still
I bet
8:30 here, so.
It is. And you know what? I just spilt tea on my pants when I was pulling my mug off.
This is the great thing though about a live or the video, like nobody can see. Like
no.
you might not even wear pants. We wouldn't necessarily know.
You're right. You never know. You just never know over here. You know, I have my pray mug because
I love it.
You know, I know that I've got a handful of them, but every time, man, that I wake up in the morning, I'm like, this is what I need. And we are out of my chai tea right now.
Oh no.
Which is problematic.
Yes.
So we ended up, my husband made me a different concoction. It's a chai tea, but it's not my fave. So we're surviving on it today. It's low caffeine. What is it called? Half calf or what?
Oh yeah. And we need all the calf.
I need it all, and I need it all right now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Well, I am loving this season this month, or this topic this month on Amazon. It's been so enlightening to me, but it's, I think, been so enlightening to so many other people because when we talk about an author platform, most people go straight to like, well, what is how do you articulate that? And many articulate it with a website or social media or something like that. But what I absolutely love is that most authors will find Amazon as a beautiful conduit and a platform to reach so many people. And there's so many parts of Amazon that, you know, most authors don't know about. So we've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, they are sort of the 800-pound gorilla in the author marketplace. And so it's important to know what's going on there. Most people, something like 80% of books are bought through Amazon. So you can't ignore them. I know people have lots of feelings about it, you know, one way or the other, but you have to at least put them in consideration in your marketing plan and all of that kind of stuff. So, so today we're talking about Amazon ads. So this is a super complex topic. We are literally going to take just a very high level view of it.
Yeah.
I will first recommend, before I get started, 2 books that I think are fantastic on the subject that go in, that walk you through all the particulars, because obviously we're not going to be able to do all that. So the first book I recommend is by Janet Margot. And I wonder, no, I guess I can't type it into the comments in here. Oh, I could type it into the LinkedIn comments. I will do that. So Janet Margot has a book called Amazon Ads for Indie Authors. Okay. So there's that. Pretty straightforward. And then Robert Ryan has a book called Amazon Ads Unleashed. And so those are kind of the 2 books that I recommend for people. They do the deep dive. They explain the algorithm. They explain that there's different kinds of ads. They explain all of that. How do you get started? All that. So if that's a subject that you want to get into, grab those books. They're going to be the ones that'll walk you through the details. But
and of course, then we're recommending books for authors to absorb more.
Of
it's
course.
Wonderful.
Always books.
I love that.
Always
and, books. Amazon ads are complicated. Like,
they are. And so every ad platform that you might be interested in, and let me just say this, ads are only a tactic to use as part of a bigger marketing strategy. So you'd want to have a whole marketing strategy in place first, and then you decide if ads are something you want to add into that. And so you could do Facebook ads, you could do BookBub ads, you could do Amazon ads. Now, the advantage to advertising on Amazon is people are already there looking for books. Right? If you advertise on Facebook, they're scrolling through, looking at cat videos, of course. We love cat videos. And then you're interrupting that to say, hey, I have a book. And maybe they're looking for a book or maybe they're not, but you're interrupting them. So at least on Amazon, they're there for the books.
Now, can I add something before you get into the nitty gritty? Because I love, you're the expert here, which might surprise people because many are like, Stephanie, you're the marketing girl and Jen's the book coach and the editor and all the fun hats you get to wear. And it's true that this is a part of marketing. However, Jen has done so many books and has experienced this personally with her hands deep in. But on the flip side, I do want to share, and I love that you acknowledge that it's important to have ads as just one piece of the marketing components of really helping to spread the word of your book. And anyone listening, I want you to realize this too, that many authors, I think, may quickly be overwhelmed about what the next right step is that they need to do and where they're supposed to go, and may just jump quickly into advertising. And both you and I know, will say, it's not your first place. No. Don't start here. I don't think you have to. I think there's other strategies in place that have an organic, longer reach and momentum. Yes. And ads can be like that push, that extra. You can lose ads. You can lose money on ads pretty easily. And so that's why you want it to be a part of a bigger strategy. You do better on ads if you have several books out, because often you lose money on the first book. Because, and let me just do a little math for you guys here. So let's just say your ebook is selling for $4.99, $5, okay? And that's what you're advertising. And it's pretty common to pay 50 cents a click, okay? And it's pretty common to take 10 clicks before you sell your book. So 50 cents times 10, $5. We're not talking about any delivery costs or anything like that. You've already lost money, right? Right. So for many, and a 1 in 10 conversion rate is pretty dang good. 1 in 20, 1 in 30, much more common. So you can see pretty quickly that the math won't add up, that you will be losing money. So it's not uncommon to lose money on that first book. In fiction, where you could have a series, often what people do, you advertise the first book, you hope people buy it and enjoy it, you expect to lose money on it, and you make it up in the read through. So it's very important to think about that in the beginning, is that you will, especially when you're trying to get your ads to work. And I will tell you, ads are not a put it up, wait a couple days, see if it works or not. Like, it can take 2-3 months to see if your ads are working, to fine tune them. There are ads based on keywords. There are ads based on other products. And so there's different kinds of ads, and you have to do research. It can take quite a bit of time and energy to set up the research to know what you want to target on your ads. And so they're not just a jump in, play around a little bit, see what happens, and then jump out. It is a real significant strategy that you need to take some time, do a lot of research on. And even at that, it's run by an algorithm. And if you don't somehow pull the right magic levers, some ads never turn on. Like, they never gain any traction. They never really get shown. They never get a lot of impressions, and we don't know why. You can have an ad that runs really well for a while and then just stops. We don't know why. So there's a lot that's very mysterious about it. And again, that's why I recommend the books, because they kind of give some ideas of how you would want to approach it and stuff like that. But
I see a lot of people thinking that ads are just a solution, and they're not necessarily a solution. They are part of a bigger strategy, but you need to go in prepared to spend some money and to lose some money.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we're unearthing the truth. We're pulling back the curtain and unearthing the truth. I think people look in general, just in general, we don't even have to talk about authors. It could just be businesses. Look at ads as a solution for conversion. The problem is we live in a very noisy world today.
Yes.
With a lot and lots of ads in lots of different places. And I don't know about you, but I've become very desensitized to them.
Yes.
So when I see an ad, many times I actually discredit it or ignore it. And I'm like, oh, it's an ad. Right. And so I know I'm not alone in that. I know that is how a lot of people look at it, but I also know that ads can be really effective if done right.
Yes.
There's a couple things I want to like just breathe life into as well. And it's that there in the marketing world, and authors out there that are listening, like in our author space too, there's a reason that people niche down. And when you niche down, you can become extremely strong experts in specific areas.
Yeah.
No longer is the world of complete generalists. Being very niched is ideal. If someone just wrote a book about entrepreneurship as a whole, it would not be as effective as entrepreneurship for, hairdressers. Pick something, right?
Right.
Like
exactly.
It's very niche, and that's where we become the experts in. Same thing when it comes to different marketing elements. And so Amazon ads, for example, there are businesses that only do that. Like there are businesses that understand and only focus on that. But you're going to pay for it. Like you're going to pay for their expertise and nothing. And it's like a roll of the dice as anything, right? I hate to say it. And so
it's true.
It is. And I'm just really glad that you're helping, in this conversation, authors realize that it could be a costly, it could have no ROI. It could be fantastic. You don't know, but it's a dance and a give and take.
Yes, it's very true. And it's very different than when it was in 2017, when I first started doing ads and I could pay 17 or 18 cents a click. You could experiment a lot more, like with anything, as an industry matures, and grows up and gets more competition in it, things are going to just be more expensive and it'll get tighter. There's a couple cool things about Amazon ads that are a little bit different than like Facebook ads or BookBub ads, is that one, you don't pay for impressions. So if your ad is getting shown a lot of places, but nobody's clicking, you only pay for the click. Now, that's a good thing in many ways, as your name is kind of just getting out there and people are just getting familiar with you. To your point about niching down, makes your ads much more powerful. So for example, in fiction, you can niche down in lots of like sub genres, right? So you wouldn't want to just be like advertised to all romance. If you're writing romance, you might go romance, and then you might go, like I wrote romantic suspense, but I also write clean and wholesome. And so like you just get smaller and smaller until your audience that they're going to show you to, if you can tie it into get the algorithm kind of tuned properly, you're going to show it to the right audience. And then hopefully the clicks that you get are the clicks that you want. The bad side is, right, if Amazon shows your ad to a bunch of people and people don't click on it, their goal is to be relevant to the customer. They don't care about you. They care about the customer. And so they'll stop showing it. So again, to your point about being niched, about being tied down and being really specific, you're going to have a better success when you've got your cover and your topic and your back cover copy and all that really working well together. If that is not working, your ads are not going to work. Like all that stuff has to support and be in place before you have ads. The other thing about Amazon ads is you don't create the ad. You don't create any creative. It's your book cover. You have no control over that. They put it up. You don't even, on a lot of ads, you don't even have to put any ad copy. The ad copy is like limited to 50 characters anyways. Most of us don't even bother with it. And so that's nice. If you like, I'm not good at writing ad copy. I'm not good at creating creative like you have to do for Facebook ads.
Yep.
That's great. Like you can just put it up there and it's going to do all that for you. So for that standpoint, there's a little bit of an advantage. It also makes Amazon's ads when, like, as you're a consumer, if you go through and look for books, it's hard to tell sometimes what's an ad and what's a book listing, right? I mean, you have to look, it says sponsored, then you know it's an ad. But that is one of the advantages. If you get placed in there, then it looks like it's part of the search results. So, you know, it's like with anything, your whole package has to work together to make your ads effective. If you don't have an effective product, what I think this saying is advertising just makes a bad product fail faster, right? So,
Ooh, that's like a dagger in the heart, but it's true.
It's really true. So,
I mean, you know what? We're talking about like also bigger issues than just this. But what you just shared is something I see as like a fatal flaw of just authors in general, and I think entrepreneurs and business owners and people, is that we want to quickly go to the fast stuff. Like, I want to get it now, and I want it to convert now. And when I take a step back and realize kind of how all the moving pieces have happened in book marketing, the most successful are the ones that go to something like ads last. It's not
so
absolutely. You start with your platform. You get your platform strong. You make sure you have a beautiful, visible presence online. Your website's great. Your social's engaging. Your Amazon Author Central is clear. Your book is a marketable book. You've got all of this beautiful content. Your Amazon A+ is there. Everything's done. Then you've leveraged your connections, and your connections like know you and love you, and they're helping spread the word. And then you've, launched this book, and then you've done podcast guesting, and you've done other visibility strategies. And then you go to the ads.
Yes. I think it's the very last piece. Yes.
The last piece of the puzzle.
Otherwise, you will be wasting your money. And you're exactly right. We want to jump in. We want the quick fix. Okay, I'm just going to spend some money, and this is going to be the magic bullet that's going to make it work. And there is no magic bullet. You have to put in the effort to make it all work together as a package. Otherwise, the advertising is just going to suck up your money, and it is not going to give you returns. And so that is the challenge.
Yes. You're going to be mad. And these book sales you're wanting to get, your royalties will dwindle because you're spending it on your ads. And ads don't have to be bad. They could be great when they're used effectively and done right, versus doing it in the beginning, wanting a quick win. I'll be honest, and I know you agree, the book industry, the book publishing industry, the author writing industry, none of that is a quick journey.
Right. So true. So true. It is a long game.
But it's true.
It's a long game. And I think for many authors, ads may never be part of your marketing strategy. And that is perfectly fine. I think for many authors, it is not a good fit, and it's not going to be something that is going to give you a good return. And so I think for most people, you're going to want to do, build that strong foundation. I tell people, remember, you're still selling one book at a time, one book at a time. It's kind of like, the old fashioned bookstore where you're hand selling your book to people, right? It's in the virtual world. But if you think about it that way, how do I find one more customer, one more reader, one more client, one more person that needs to hear my message? I just need to find one more of those people. You get enough of those. And to be honest, you don't need a ton, right? There's the book, 1,000 Superfans. There's a point where if you get all that foundation laid really well, then you're going to have those true people that love your message and want to share it with other people. Then they're doing the work for you, right? Word of mouth. That's what we all want. That's the most powerful thing.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Get that all correct first.
I know. And it totally goes against our internal push to want to just do something quick. And there is, unfortunately, maybe a decade ago, Jen, there was, but the industry has evolved. It's different, and it's not, it's unfortunately doesn't work that way. But don't be just like, don't be, frustrated or bummed out hearing that.
Right.
There is opportunity. And as long as you keep moving, it will pay off. I believe it.
It will.
You know, if you have a good book and you keep talking about it, you are sharing value, the book will sell. And if you get to a point where you have some additional funds that you want to test out advertising, I would say Amazon ads might be a really great solution to try and to test out.
It can be. And one of the advantages, they can be slower to spend your money, because remember what I said about with impressions, you're not paying for impressions. So if you have an ad that's either not getting impressions or getting impressions and not clicks, that's part of the experimenting process, right? But you're not paying to experiment with that. Whereas Facebook will spend your money really fast. Yeah. So it's not a bad idea to, if you're interested in getting ads, you feel like that's the place that you're ready to go, to start with Amazon, set some money aside, know that you're going to have this budget. Amazon does allow you to set budgets, which is fantastic.
That's nice.
So definitely set your budgets and be mindful of that. But know that they can be kind of slow to spin up, which is actually good, because it gives you a chance to get in there and tweak and things like that without blowing a whole budget. So it's not a bad place to start. If you decide that you want to do ads, it can be a good place to kind of learn a little bit.
So side note, not related to Amazon advertising, but I think you have a ghost in your room.
Oh, that was my son closing the door.
I'm just kidding. I've been watching these reels.
Closed. Yeah. And then the cat, Pippin, joined me. So she opened the door. And so I guess I hadn't latched it. And then, so it was open. I saw it open. And then Josh, whenever he walks by, he always closes it.
It was fun. It was just fun to see. I'm like, so we have captured the ghost in Jen's
The ghost in my house, which is my 20-year-old son.
It's your son. It's your son. We all have one. I have several too. Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, this is such a great conversation, and thanks for letting us like kind of dig in your experience. It is, I will say, if people come to me and say, I want Amazon advertising, I always say, I'm not, like, the Empire PR Group isn't your place. Go find a specialist that does Amazon advertising, because they will know it intimately, but that is currently not something that I dabble in, because I want there to be long-term momentum. I get really frustrated with short-term kind of bursts, because I don't believe, or I don't know that has long-term longevity. So
no, and I think the Amazon algorithm as a whole it does not reward bursts. It rewards a long, steady movement in the right direction. And that's what you want. You want to be able to continually be sending people to buying your book, to be interested in it, to growing that email list, growing that interest. That is really the goal. If Amazon ads help you in that, that's great. But the goal is to grow your readership. And you want that long term. And it is a long game. It is not just these short bursts. They burn out really, really quickly. So having that long term, and that's what you want. That's what you're going to be able to grow your message and to create that impact.
Yep. And long term is this beautiful synergy of book sales and reviews.
Yes.
Keep those coming. If you have that ongoing, it doesn't have to be in big spurts all the time, but ongoing tells Amazon, guess what? This is a book people are liking and loving and diving into. Speaking of which, Jen, I have a book for today. I'm excited.
Yay!
I'm excited. So one of the offerings that I do here at the Empire PR Group is what we call a VIP day, or like an intensive. I love them. We get to go super deep with an author and understand what their needs are, create plans, and take action like within that day. We're pretty nimble, ready to run kind of group. So last week I had a VIP day with the author of this book, The Soul of Family Business. His name is Tom Hubler. And first of all, the
love
book,
that.
It was released in 2018. So it's also a reminder that books have as much shelf life and energy as you want to bring to them.
So true. So true. I mean, they really don't expire.
They don't. I was chatting with a publisher yesterday about this and said, I always say books don't have a shelf life, but I want you to think of a book not as a produce, but as like a canned good with no sodium, right? Yes. Like a low sodium green bean. Not the fresh green beans, but the low sodium canned green beans that are still good for you. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, every time you want to breathe life into it, you can. And so I had the pleasure of reading his book and coming to the table with some really fun and exciting ideas. But I walked away with like, the whole book has got notes all up in it because I enjoyed it so much. But I thought it would be interesting for those listening today to kind of sync on this concept of a family business, because I don't think people go into family businesses thinking they're going to do a family business. And in the current world of like COVID and the Great Resignation and how people are re-envisioning their life, I think we see entrepreneurs starting business in different ways. And so I was actually interested because I've never thought of the Empower PR Group as a family business, and yet it could be, right?
Yes.
And so anyways, but one of the things that I loved about what he shared, and I think it's just the heart too of successful books, is this quote. He says, love is the foundation of a productive and successful family business. And he acknowledged the bottom line of a family business isn't just financial, but it's this unity that is created. And so I believe for authors too, like the foundation, the bottom line of successful successful books is this value of what we're giving, this passion we have that we're putting into it and pouring into it. And at the heart of that, Jen, like, why would we do this if we didn't love it? So just, it really hit home for me.
I love that. And you're right. Family businesses, sometimes you just kind of fall into them, and I think about that too, about having my children that are now young adults working in my business. And so you think about, there's some little, traps you can fall into. So you definitely want to, I might have to pick up that book.
You should. Here's the other really cool thing about him as an author is he was a therapist first.
Very cool.
And we were chatting and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can feel, like how a therapist is just calm, most of them.
Yes.
So like his writing is just beautiful, warm and calm. And I feel like anything's possible. But it's also great because if family business is ever something of a potential in your life, you should probably dive into it, because there are things you could do now to prevent really bad things that happen on the other side of family business that doesn't go so well. So I love that. And I also thought, Jen, it was a good segue into our priority focus for next month, which actually is about the authorpreneur side of writing a book. So the authorpreneur business side is, I believe, what we're touching on in the month of August. And I'm excited about it because every author watching, you don't know it, but you actually are starting a business. So we're going to unpack what that
so true. Yes. Very true. I will say that's so important for people to realize that too, because a lot of authors are like, oh, I don't want to do numbers. And there are some numbers you have to do. It's okay. You can do it. It's awesome. We can help you do it. It's fine. But just realize you are starting a business and you do have to do some things that are business-like. So I'm excited.
We're going to unpack it all. We're going to have fun doing it. It'll be a totally unexpected beyond the page that I think every author will need.
Fantastic.
All right, Jen, I'm passing it to you for our beautiful closeout.
Yes, authors, your words have power. You have power. Your message has power. So we invite you to take that to the page and beyond with me and Stephanie, and join us here every week with Beyond the Page as we help you on your author journey.
All right. See y'all next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.